Hey everybody, today's video is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club, you've seen them on the channel before. Thank you guys for supporting them. I've been using them for over a year now, very happy with them. Obviously I use their 6-blade system. They send you the Dr. Carver shave butter and the nice handle, and I couldn't be happier. For a limited time, new members get their first month of the Executive Razor with a tube of their Dr. Carver shave butter for only $5 with free shipping. After that, razors are just a few bucks a month. This offer is exclusively available at dollarshaveclub.com/superspeedersRob. That's dollarshaveclub.com/superspeedersRob. So make sure you pause the video now and go support them at the link in the description, or you can watch the video, which I prefer as well, and support them just afterwards. They've been a supporter of the channel for a long time now. I am very happy with the razors. I am very happy with the company. So thank you for supporting them. Dollar Shave Club, the smarter way to shave. Hey everybody, Rob Ferretti here, and I'm going to talk today about how to afford a car that your parents and a bank tells you pretty much can't afford. And Jimbo asked me this question because he's looking to get a C5. And technically at the time that I bought this car, most banks, or probably lending was easier back then, in today's standards would have said I couldn't afford it, given my profession as a caddy and working just odd jobs and everything like that. My income tax returns were not enough to substantiate a loan on well, at the time was a $45,000 car. What I did was I had my parents co-sign on the car. That helped. But how do you afford a car that maybe, I think I paid like $1,000 a month for this car a long time ago. So in today's terms, say it's like a $1,400 a month car payment. That may be off, but imagine being 20 years old and picking up a $1,400 a month car payment. To some people, that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot of money, I'm not gonna lie. But $1,400 a month, when it's something that I really wanted, it was worth the effort. Now, working as a caddy, doing what I was doing, I was making more than that. I was making enough to afford the car, and then obviously to afford to modify the car, because I was doing both of those. I was able to do so by living at home, managing my expenses. So living at home until I was 25, I think, is when I moved out. And I moved out of my house when I decided to move in and get a place with my then girlfriend, 2 years later fiance, and then 3 years later wife. And we ended up buying a condo, or I bought a condo in Edgewater, New Jersey. And that was my first foray of living outside my parents' house, other than when I was out of college. So most people are eager to get out of their parents' house. They rather be like, you know what, I'd rather have my $1,200 rent payment and live on my own than have a car or whatever. To me, the car was more important, and I guess a bunch of you guys can relate. So this car, I was able to afford that by focusing. Like, you have to own up to your obligations. The number one thing I did every month was made sure my car payment was paid. And if I needed more money, I went out and earned it. And everyone, if you have a job that's sort of an hourly job and you're doing your 40 or 50 hours a week, and this isn't in the realm, there's nothing I can really do for you there. Other than managing your cost, managing how much money you're actually spending. If you can't live and afford that car, then you can't do it. Having anyone co-sign, all you're going to do is burn somebody else's credit. Because at 20 years old, and even Jimbo at 19, you don't have credit yet. You barely have a American Express Blue for students with a $500 credit line. So you can't really go out and borrow for a car. You can't borrow for anything legitimate at that age, unless for some reason you have been building up credit for years, which I applaud you if that was your goal. You should probably get out more. But if that's what you did, then you have credit and you're way ahead of the game. But to get a car that you can't necessarily afford, you want to manage your other expenses. You don't want to go out and waste money. And I was young when I had my Corvette. I would go out and I was with these Ferrari chat guys, and we'd go to these clubs like Ruby Falls, which doesn't even exist. Clubs are in business for 3 years, out of business for the rest of the time. And we'd spend $500 a head, $600 a head on getting table service. It's all nonsense. So cut that sort of stuff out. Don't worry about wasting money to prove that you have it. And you can easily afford something like this. Even though a bank, like if you know you want something and you make sure you own your obligation and you pay that payment, I was making more than $1,400 a month. So I was gassing it up. I was paying the insurance on it, which was also high. I think I was probably $350 a month in insurance at my age because I was young with a brand new Corvette. So my total cost of ownership at that time was about $1,700 or $1,750 a month. So that being said, if you prioritize stuff like that, if you're making, you have to make at least double your car payment, like after tax, in order to be able to afford something like that. If you're not, I would stay away from that. But you have to have at least $1,500, $2,000 to live off of during the course of the month, which is not a lot. You're talking like $400 to $500 a week, which is not rolling in the dough, so to speak. So there's your tip. Live at home, borrow from, or not borrow, I wouldn't borrow from your parents. Like, it's easy to default on a loan to your parents. That's why I wouldn't borrow. If you're gonna borrow from a bank. Allow them to co-sign, but build up some credit in your name, own your responsibilities, and it's not out of the question. And this was not the best financial decision I've made, but I'm very happy with it. I'm owning the decision, and I sort of don't regret anything I've done with it. It's not the most daily drivable anymore. It's now a race car for the street, but it's my race car for the street. So it's my story, I'm sticking to it. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any specific questions, the last thing I would say, manage your interest rates. Don't go out and get a loan just because somebody will give it to you, because any bank will give you a loan at 27%, but you want to take a car loan that's at least competitive. Understand that you don't have credit, so it may be a little higher, but if the rest of the market's paying 2%, you should be paying 6, not 20. Thanks for watching. I hope I answered some of your questions. If you have any more questions, throw them in the comments. I'll try to get to them. I will see you next time. Rob Ferretti out.